Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 11th of December. India and Russia ink deal to jointly build 12 nuclear power blocks. Taliban led suicide blast kill 6 Afghan soldiers in Kabul. And PTI and Pakistan government agreed to resume talks as shutdown day draws near. And now for all the details. New Delhi and Moscow on Thursday agreed to jointly construct 12 nuclear power blocks in India in the next 2 decades. Attending the annual Indo-Russia summit in capital New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and visiting Russian President Vladimir Putin also vowed to further expand the bilateral ties.
Russian President Vladimir Putin met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in capital New Delhi on Thursday during his one-day visit to the country. The Indian Prime Minister said the two countries have time-tested relationship. He further reiterated that Russia will continue to remain its most important defense partner. The two countries signed 16 deals in areas including nuclear energy, hydrocarbon, medical research, trade and increasing people-to-people contact. Modi also lauded the contribution of Moscow in India's power sector, especially in civil nuclear energy.
The first unit of the Kudankulam nuclear power plant is on stream. It has added 20% of the existing capacity for nuclear power in India. We are on course for installing the next 3 units of 1,000 megawatt each. Today, we have outlined an ambitious vision for nuclear energy of at least 10 more reactors.
Prime Minister Modi, who advocated the campaign for Make in India, said Russia will begin manufacturing one of its most sophisticated aircrafts in his country.
I am pleased that Russia has offered to fully manufacture in India one of its most advanced helicopters. It also includes the possibility of exports from India. I also propose that Russia should locate manufacturing facilities in India for spares and components for Russian defense equipment in India. He responded very positively to my request.
President Putin said the two countries have great potential to work together in the field of hydrocarbon. India is the third biggest exporter of petroleum products, while Russia has one of the largest hydrocarbon reserves. The two leaders also attended the World Diamond Conference in the Indian capital. The two countries have also entered into a deal to facilitate the delivery of rough diamonds to Indian firms from Russia. India is the world leader in diamond polishing, while Russia is one of its biggest miners. The Russian president also met Indian business leaders later in the day on enhancing trade cooperation. He is also scheduled to meet his Indian counterpart Pranab Mukherjee before concluding his trip.
At least 6 Afghan soldiers were killed and over a dozen others were wounded in a suicide attack on an army bus in capital Kabul on Thursday. The bomber detonated his explosives when the bus carrying military personnel was crossing a highway in the suburbs of Kabul. The Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack in a message sent soon after. The strike comes after almost a 2-week lull in the violence by the militia targeting government buildings and officials along with vehicles of foreign workers. Kabul has been hit by a spate of deadly attacks, heightening concerns that Afghanistan might slip into the hands of the insurgents as the US-led military presence continues to decline. The Nawaz Sharif government and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or PTI have agreed to resume talks to end the ongoing protests in the country. The party has called for a complete shutdown in Pakistan against the government next week.
Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on Thursday gave a go-ahead to resume the stalled talks with Imran Khan. But according to reports, Khan asserted that the agenda of strikes and shutdowns will continue. Pakistan Information Minister Pervez Rashid had on Wednesday said the government is willing to hold talks as proposed by the PTI.
जब आप दूसरों को ये कहते हैं कि मुज़ाकरात वहीं से शुरू हों जहां से उनका सिलसिला मुनक़ते हुआ था तो आपको भी अपनी उसी जगह पे वापस आना चाहिए जहां से मुज़ाकरात का सिलसिला आपने खुद मुनक़ते किया था। लाहौर बंद कराने, कराची बंद कराने, फैसलाबाद को आग लगाने के सिलसिले तरक कर दीजिए। मुज़ाकरात वहीं से शुरू हो जाएंगे जहां से आपके कहने पर उनका सिलसिला मुनक़ता हुआ था।
Khan said the shutdown call could be withdrawn if a judicial commission examined vote rigging allegations of the elections of 2013. Former cricketer Khan has been hitting the roads against the Sharif government since August, alleging it of massive fraud in the 2013 general elections.
The Bangladesh National Museum is holding an exhibition on the genocide the country witnessed during its historic independence movement 1971. The event is organized as part of the country's observation of December as a month of liberation.
The week-long exhibition in capital Dhaka is aimed at making the young generation aware of their country's history. Titled 1971 Genocide and Tortures, the exhibition features photographs, drawings and artwork from the 1970s when Bangladesh fought for independence from Pakistan. Hundreds who visited the exhibition felt it was a walk down the memory lane.
যখন মুক্তিযুদ্ধ হয় তখন আমি ইউনিভার্সিটির ছাত্রী ছিলাম। এই এত বছর পরে এই ছবিগুলো দেখে আবার তখনকার কথা নতুন করে মনে হচ্ছে এবং তখন যে কি বিভৎস এবং কি ভয়ের মধ্যে কি আতঙ্কের মধ্যে আমরা থাকতাম সেটা আবার মনে হচ্ছে।
Bangladesh Cultural Affairs Minister Asaduzzaman Noor said it was important that the young generation of the country knows about the sacrifices the previous generation made.
We are hoping that this will attract the new generation to come and visit and to know the history of our liberation war, to know the history of our sacrifices the people made, men and women both. It's very important for the new generation to know, because if they don't know the real history, then it will be very difficult to look for the future.
Bangladesh, then known as East Pakistan, fought a civil war in 1971 under the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman to secede from West Pakistan. The 9-month-long period saw some 3 million people being killed and some 200,000 women being raped as Pakistan Army and its local collaborators unleashed large-scale violence across the country to crush the uprising.
A Bangladeshi court has issued an arrest warrant against Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP Vice President Tariq Rahman for insulting the country's founding father Sheikh Mujibur. Rahman, the eldest son of former Prime Minister Begum Khalida Zia, had in a recent speech called Sheikh Mujibur Pakbandhu or friend of Pakistan. Rahman has been for some time trying to distort the history of Bangladesh and the role of Mujibur in the liberation war through his speeches. It also claimed that his father, Ziaur Rahman, was the first president of Bangladesh and Mujibur was an illegitimate president. Rahman, who is also facing a number of graft charges in Bangladesh, had fled the country in 2008 in the guise of medical treatment and has been living in London ever since. India and Bangladesh launched yet another bus service connecting northeast Indian city of Guwahati with Bangladeshi capital Dhaka.
India launched the trial run of its much-anticipated bus service between Guwahati and Dhaka this week. A 32-seater air-conditioned bus carried a joint delegation of high officials from both the sides on the 310-mile journey to assess route conditions and various technical parameters. The proposed bus service will traverse through Shillong and Dauki in India's northeastern Meghalaya before entering Sylhet district of Bangladesh. The trial leg of journey is expected to conclude in Dhaka on Friday. Bangladeshi officials said the bus service will go a long way in building relations.
It's a historic day because the historical ties that lies between the Indian-Bangladesh relation would be strengthened further once this Dhaka to Guwahati bus service gets on the way.
The bus service is expected to improve people-to-people contact apart from strengthening bilateral trade ties. It is also expected to boost tourism industry in the northeastern region of India and enhance close commercial and cultural links on both sides.
With the onset of winters, markets in Pakistan are flooded with warm clothes. But the traditional wool comforters are facing the heat of tough competition from synthetic quilts.
While winters bring with it the warm bundles and quilts and blankets, the age-old tradition of crafting wool is gradually fading out in Pakistan. The country, which was once famous for its wool comforters, is now facing intense competition from the modern machine-made products. Due to their relatively low prices, easy manageability and light weight, more and more people are now opting for synthetic covers.
वो थोड़ी वजनी होती हैं और ये हल्की होती हैं, गर्म भी होती हैं, तो लोग इसलिए इनको ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ज़्यादा पसंद करते हैं.
In the age which is upbeat with modern equipments and tools, wool carders in Pakistan are finding it hard to sustain their business. The small-scale cottage industry, which was provided employment to generations of weavers in the interiors of the country, are now struggling to match up. Craftsmen who still carry on the custom of manually stuffing and hand-stitching comforters, pillows and mattress pads race against time to meet huge orders. The reduction in the demand for wool comforters had drastically reduced the income of wool carders.
हाथ से जो धुनी जाती है उसकी जो सफाई होती है ना वो सही नहीं होती, खुलती सही नहीं है. मशीन जो होती है ना उसको रेशा रेशा कर देती है, तो उससे उठाव ज़्यादा आता है.
The skill of wool carding has been kept alive by the artisans of Pakistan. But with the tough competition, many producers have now shifted to modern techniques to produce wool and cotton blended products in order to meet demand from Western customers.
For his fans, he continues to live as an inspiration. But memories of martial arts legend Bruce Lee have got a fresh face today. Take a look at who is the new Lee on the block.
One look of Abbas Alizada is enough to make people go bonkers. The 20-year-old's uncanny resemblance to late Kung Fu legend Bruce Lee has brought international attention to his home country, Afghanistan. Alizada not only bears facial similarity and ripped physique, but has also mastered Lee's unique poses and martial arts skills. The young man who is kicking his way to the internet fame has given the war-torn nation a little more reason to hog headlines. Alizada, also known as Bruce Hazara of Afghanistan, hopes his publicity burst will catapult him to broader fame.
در آینده میخوایم بروسلی افغانستان شناخته شم. بروسلی با نه تنها افغانستان، میخوایم با تمام جهان الگو باشم، مثل بروسلی قهرمان باشم و میخوایم که از آرزوهای بزرگم است که در سینمای هالیوود آمریکا را پیدا کنم.
The young doppelganger has been learning different types of martial arts by watching Lee's films. Hailing from the interiors of Afghanistan with lack of funds, Alizada attained training from his mentor Ali Kahar, who helped him polish his skills and win several awards. Afghanistan is witnessing increased interest in sports among youth under the new government that succeeded the hardline Taliban, which had earlier banned television and many recreation incentives in the nation for years.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India and Russia ink deal to jointly build 12 nuclear power blocks. Taliban-led suicide blast killed 6 Afghan soldiers in Kabul. And PTI and Pakistan government agree to resume talks as shutdown day draws near. And now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. And that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.